and all of that. But I do appreciate you joining us for the pre-show, or if you just want to skip ahead to the actual show, you could do that also. I'm not sure if there's a way I could signal that for people. So you could see, oh, this is all the pre-show, and then like a big thing, and all of a sudden, oh, the show's starting. So you could literally fast forward to that. That's something worth investigating after, this next interesting series that's happening. You could do that also later, or I believe starting tomorrow. So, as you may or may not know, every time when we do this, I log into the American Soundbites page on Facebook. If you're watching us on Twitter or on YouTube or even on the Twitch, welcome to you. There's not a whole lot you can do, but if you wouldn't mind sharing this program right now with all of your followers, I would appreciate it. But on the Facebook, I have the opportunity, you do too, right now actually, to start a watch party. I'm typing a really interesting, if you do follow me on Twitter, on the Facebook, take a look, because I'm typing a really interesting title for my watch party of this show. And then I click start, and I get the little popcorn thing, and then shortly after that, the show appears. It pops up on the screen. So if you are one of those awesomely amazing people who does follow me on the Facebook, make sure, or wherever you're watching this, make sure to subscribe or follow or friend or like us, so that you're notified each and every time an episode goes live, or we post any other information that could be, valuable to you, your day. Hey, Frank, welcome. Thanks for joining us here this morning on the Facebook. The people that are watching us on Twitter and on YouTube and on the Twitch, because I know that we've had viewers, and it seems to be building quite rapidly on the Twitch. Welcome to you as well. I know that Amazon is very pleased that you're using their portal to watch. I apologize for the background music that I've arranged for today. If you enjoy it, then, I did it for your pleasure. If not, not a whole lot I can do about it, but they're almost done. So I'm stalling a little bit so that they can get done and leave. And I'm stalling a little bit because I want to make sure I've got everything set up. Trying a new setup today. I don't know if you noticed when I first came on, you caught me actually drinking my Dunkin'. And as you know, I do drink coffee every single morning, and sometimes I get it from various places, whether it's the bagel shop or that place that has the mermaid on it, or maybe even the Golden Arches. But every time I go to any of those places, they all have a small, they have a medium, and they have a large. And that's it. It's all the same. It's all coffee. Coffee is coffee. Well, there may be a little bit different roasts or blends or flavors, whatever. It's still just coffee. But I tend to prefer going to Dunkin', because while their coffee, just like everyone else's, is just coffee, they've upped the game. Because at Dunkin', they have small, medium, large, just like everybody else. But then they turned it up to 11. They've got an extra large. And, well, I'm the kind of guy who needs an extra large in the morning, so I'm drinking Dunkin'. And, well, there's a Dunkin' within only, probably a mile or two of where you are right now, so you could run out and grab one for yourself. It is good. It is good. That's for sure. All right. So we've got Steve following us. We've got somebody who I don't recognize here. We've got, and again, welcome to everybody on the Twitch. I think that they're just about done with our sound effects. And so we're ready to go live with this, well, current event discussion. So I have to click. Yep. You are listening to The American Soundbite, a podcast that features common sense thoughts of an everyday American. This is the start of the most valuable 10 minutes of your day, so congratulations on joining us. I'm certainly glad that you're along for the conversation today. Hey, before we begin, I'd like to ask you to help out your friends, your family members, even your coworkers. You can probably think of at least one or two of them that, well, maybe a little less conversive, maybe not be quite as intelligent or up to date on current events as you are. And, well, you want to help them when they're standing around the water cooler or just, shooting the breeze at a Zoom meeting or even dinner tonight. Let them know that you start your day by watching The American Soundbite by clicking on the share button, and tell them all on social media that that's exactly what you do and that they should too. It won't just benefit them, it will also benefit you, I promise. So last night, for those of you who live in the great state of Ohio, our humble governor, Mike DewInes, held a press conference, an irregularly scheduled press conference. Most of you probably know that throughout this entire pandemic, he had the Wine with DewInes show where he and his, I don't know what she is, but she has a public title, Amy DewInes, would get on TV and tell us all the doom and gloom news every single day at 2 o'clock to let us know how we were all going to die from the virus. And now he still, every Tuesday and Thursday, has a regular press conference scheduled where he reads off all the numbers and tells us how horrible everything is and how we're all going to die and that we're doing a horrible job protecting ourselves and our friends and our loved ones from a microscopic bug. But last night he scheduled a separate press conference. He scheduled it at 5:30 p.m. because he wanted to maximize his availability to all the commoners in Ohio, the lowly people that are, beneath him in the governor's mansion. And he did the press conference from his office in Columbus, where he proceeded to, make all kinds of statements about the fact that the virus is real, that the virus is deadly, that the virus is harmful, that the numbers are growing, that the numbers aren't shrinking, that just like in Florida, that the numbers are real, except they just found out that the numbers in Florida aren't real. But that's what he told us. And if we're not careful and if we don't do something right now, that we are going to end up just like Florida and just like Texas and just like California. Ohio is going to be just like California. Think about that for a minute. That's enough time. You don't have to think about it too much. It's a nasty thought. So he says all this, but at the very beginning of his press conference, he starts it out by saying, today we're not going to discuss new orders or new actions that we're taking. We'll save that for another time. That was like the first statement that came out of his mouth when he started the presser. We're going to save my orders for another time. So that was like clue number one, what's going on here. Now, if you watched back his press conferences in March and April and everything else, he never actually came out right away and said, here's an order, bam, and hit us with it. Before he announced the school closures, before he announced everything, I remember it was a Sunday, and I was down in Ohio City with my friend George at Cigars, and he held a press conference, and I remember sitting there, and I was like, I'm scared, I'm nervous. Why would a governor hold a primetime press conference on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, and what is he not telling us? What is he planning on doing and not saying, and all of that? And a couple days later, he announced, we're closing the schools. And you know everything that cascaded after that from the closures and everything. He proceeded to, throughout the series of closures and restrictions and orders and everything else, he proceeded to first tell us, if you don't slow the spread of this disease, I'm going to have to do something. If you don't take this action right now, I'm going to have to order you to do it. And he did it, and then 2 days later, he came out and announced an order. So it's not even that he gave us time to actually take any action or for our behavior changes to produce any results, because again, we're dealing with a virus that has up to a 14-day incubation period. But he would tell us, and then 2 days later he would take action. So last night he starts by saying, today's not the day to announce any new orders or actions to you. We'll save that for another time. And then he proceeded to, tell us how bad things are and how horrible things are and how there's 1,000 people in the hospital in Ohio. I forget, we have 30-some thousand hospital beds in Ohio, or maybe that's in Cleveland. But there's 1,000 people in the hospital in Ohio, and single-digit people are dying every day, and that's not good. If you look at Florida, when they had 12,000 people sick with the virus, that within 4 days it was 15,000, and oh my gosh. Now again, they found out that in Florida there were some reporting irregularities, and they're looking into it, and not as many positives as there were, but that's irrelevant. That's not this conversation. So then he proceeds to quote the Bible. Now, I've got no problem with a governor who is religious. I have no problem with a governor reading the Bible. I have no problem with the governor even sharing his faith or his beliefs with his constituents. I'm totally okay with that. But the way he does it, screaming doom and gloom and everything else, and then telling us that if we don't do these things, and he did commend the Ohioans and say, oh, you guys have been doing such a great job, and when we bent the curve, it was your actions, and you guys did great, and you're going to do this, and just keep doing it, wear a mask and socially distance so that our kids can go to school. And so he did, a little bit of threat, a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of God. But I mean, clearly this guy, this governor with with an immense ego, who really hasn't gotten anything accomplished here while he's been in office, but he clearly has a Moses complex. He believes that he's been chosen by his higher deity to come and lead the I owe people to freedom, freedom from this virus. Now, I don't need to remind you, because you're intelligent enough and you get it, that this is a virus, that we can't sequester ourselves indefinitely until the virus is gone. That eventually we need to go out in public, and whether we're wearing masks or not wearing masks, or social distancing or not social distancing or whatever, we are susceptible to getting viruses. People get sick every day. People get the flu, get the bug, get all kinds of viruses and bacterias and other crap all the time. We have not, as humans, been able to eradicate virus. We haven't been able to eradicate sickness. That's why, well, it's still around. So the belief or the assumption or the thought that if we just all socially distance and wear masks for 3 or 4 or 5 more weeks and this thing will be gone, we'll be over the hill and it'll all be great, is a load of BS. And anybody who thinks that somehow in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 10 weeks or 10 months, that if we just wear masks and stay in our houses, that all of a sudden we're gonna get the green light and we're gonna be able to come out, you're an idiot. Because it's not reality. Look at life around us. In what's it been, 30 years? Has AIDS gone away? In how many thousands of years has the flu gone away? Polio hasn't gone away. It's made a resurgence because idiots don't get vaccinated. The truth of the matter is that this virus isn't going away. You can wear a mask, you cannot wear a mask, whatever. Your likelihood of getting the virus is still there. The good news is right now, even though more people are getting sick, which, Governor, you knew before you started to release the openings, because you told us on March, whatever it was, 13th, that when you flattened the curve, that you weren't going to stop any of us from getting the virus. You were just going to get the hospitals ready. And you acknowledged that last night. And the hospitals are ready. They're prepared for us. But the good news is that most of the people who are getting sick today, remember, higher numbers today than there were even back then, most of them who are getting sick either have 0 symptoms whatsoever or have mild symptoms and they're not needing or seeking medical treatment. And they're getting over the virus rather quickly, and very few people are getting sick or going into the hospital or dying from this virus right now. Maybe it's because it's the summer. Maybe it's because we have all kinds of sunlight here in Ohio. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But the simple fact is that the people who are getting sick now aren't getting as sick as they were back in March. And I believe the people who are getting sick now will not be as sick as those who get infected in September and October. Yet we're freaking out and saying we've got to close the state down and we've got to take all this action and everything else because the simple fact that infection numbers are rising. Well, look at hospitalization rates, look at death rates. They're both going down. They're lower than they have been. And that's a sign that we're doing okay, that we don't need further precautions, that maybe we can continue to lighten things up. I'm not telling you to go out and take your mask off and bitch at everybody. I wear a mask most of the time when I go to places, not when I'm in the car, not when I'm in my yard or even in my local neighborhood, because I'm able to provide enough distancing and I know and trust the people around me. But when I go into a store, certainly a store like Walmart or Target or, well, the grocery store, I want to protect myself because they're dirty to begin with. They're disgusting. And, well, I don't trust the people that go into those places. So I'm totally fine donning a mask to go into those kind of places. By the way, Dunkin' has drive-through, so you don't have to worry about a mask. You don't have to worry about a virus. You can get your extra large coffee and drink it from Dunkin'. But that was a shameless plug for me, not for them. But nonetheless, the reality of it is that Mike DewInes' press conference was extremely transparent. It was transparent because if you put an ounce of thought into it, you know, number one, his reasoning is unjust. Number two, he has some kind of a weird religious complex where he believes he's Moses and he needs to lead us away from, you know, the tyranny of this virus, which is not his job as a governor. It's not government's responsibility in our country to protect us from disease. And number three, that he already has orders and mandates in place that he's ready to order either today or maybe tomorrow. I believe he'll probably do it tomorrow, which will take effect on Monday. Don't quote me, but, well, write it down so that you can verify it. He's already got the orders in place. He already intends on doing it. He was just trying to soften the blow with his 5:30 press conference. And his ego, frankly, he wanted to see how many people he could get on social media, online, watching the video, and on TV. What were his ratings, and are they better than anybody else's? The guy is out of control. He doesn't know what's going on. He certainly isn't conservative or anything close to a constitutionalist if you look at his actions. He loves the fact that when he took early action against this virus, the lamestream media gave him all kinds of attention, and he got, you know, interviews on national shows and got free trips to New York and DC so that he could be on these talk shows. And he loved it. His ego freaking exploded for, you know, a 70-year-old man. He's like, oh, I mean, he got his jollies because he got national attention. But the reality of it is he believes that Ohioans aren't smart enough to make decisions on their own. He believes that Ohioans aren't capable of deciding what risk level they're willing to accept and how to protect themselves and their families. And he's educating the populace to, well, rely on government rather than your own independent thought and decision-making process, and trusting and believing and honoring the liberty of others to make their own decisions. Governor DewInes not willing to do that. He's not capable of doing that. He is a control freak, and he's going to issue new mandates because he likes telling you what you have to do. And plain and simple, that's what it is. He thinks you're his grandchildren, or again, he thinks that he's Moses and he needs to set his people free. Whatever it is, he is not a constitutionalist. He doesn't believe in our personal liberties or the freedoms that are granted to us not by a document, not by man, but our God-given rights that are stated in the Declaration of Independence, and in our Constitution, and in our Bill of Rights. I mean, it says right in the Bill of Rights that these are God-given rights, not that they are granted by government. And they say that they can't be infringed upon by government. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm not debating that shit. I'm just simply talking about the fact that Mike DewIne has issues, that his ego is driving all of his decisions, all of his actions, and that clearly this press conference last night was an opportunity for him to get in front of the Ohio people and to, I don't know, try to set himself up for a presidential bid. Maybe he wants to be Joe Biden's, backdoor VP. I don't know, but he thinks you're not smart enough. He thinks you're not good enough. And he thinks that his job is to make decisions for you, the Ohio people, rather than giving us the information, which he's done a fair job, not great job, because he's resisted giving full information. The state legislature, by the way, has been trying to force him to give Ohioans all the data, not just some of it. But he doesn't think that you're capable of looking at the information, looking at the data, and making a decision on what's the best course of action for you. because, well, we need his leadership, we need his decision making, and we need his authoritarian action to take care of us all. Mike DewIne, don't know why he's got an R next to his name, because his actions certainly don't show it. And he is, doing a poor job as governor. That's something worth thinking about. It's something definitely worth talking about. And again, write it down, because tomorrow when he has his press conference, he may do it today. He may preempt me. But you'll say, hey, Dave did say that was going to happen. Because it's coming. You have been listening to the American Soundbite. This is a podcast that features common sense thoughts of an everyday American. The last, holy cow, 19 minutes have been the most valuable 10 minutes of your day. You just have to find which 10. And I appreciate you joining us for the conversation today. Hey, if you liked the content, click on the like button. Let me know. If you didn't like it, if you loved it, or if you absolutely hated it, or just want to make some snide comments, type them in the comment box. I do read them. It does affect a change in the show moving forward. While you're at it, right next to the like button over here is the share button. Let your friends, your family members, even your coworkers on social media know that you listen to the American Soundbite, and they should too. It will make them better people. It'll make them better conversationalists, and well, it'll make you their hero. Thanks a lot for joining us. I hope you have a great day, and God bless. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap of our 20-minute and 14-second show, which means it was about a little under 18 minutes of actual discussion. I have had a trend lately of going over and over and over our 10-minute limit. I don't have a big-ass clock in front of me where these lights are. And maybe that's something I need to do. But today, I obviously... there's so much about this Mike DewIne thing, and whether you love him or you hate him, whether you trust yourself enough to make decisions or not, Mike DewIne clearly believes that Ohioans aren't smart enough to survive without his leadership. And that's not what our government is about. That's not what Ohio is about. And frankly, I voted for the guy. I didn't think that he was this way, but he has demonstrated that he doesn't care about the Constitution. He doesn't care about our rights or our freedoms. He believes that he has a higher calling to protect all Ohioans from a virus that in reality, it doesn't matter if we hide for a week or a month or a year or our entire lives. When society starts coming outside again, this virus is still going to be there ready to attack us. Yeah, we may have some vaccines. Yeah, they may work. They may, by the way, also kill people. Look up the history of vaccines, even recently. Look at what Bill Gates' vaccine company did in India. And the fact they got literally booted from India after killing 30% of the women that they were vaccinating. Vaccines can harm you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't take them, but they can. But they're also not 100% effective. Again, polio, which we thought was eradicated, has made a resurgence. So the bug's not ever going away. We're always going to be around it. If people aren't dying right now is really not a bad time to get it. So I don't know. I think that each man, each woman, every family should be allowed to evaluate the data, evaluate the situation, make the determination on what's in their best interest, and move forward. We don't need an authoritarian to get up and tell us what we have to do. We don't need anybody to order us to do anything. We should have access to the information. We should even know our governor's thoughts and feelings on the situation, but that's as far as it should go. We're a free people. We should be able to make our own decision. And I feel strongly on that, not just on this issue, on pretty much issues across the board. I think that an authoritative government is an excessive government and isn't needed at all levels, and that our freedoms, our personal liberties are more important. And honestly, I trust mankind. I trust my neighbors to make decisions that are in their best interest, which will also by proxy in my best interest. And yeah, that's just the way I believe. Those are the things that I do. And yeah, this issue, it's complex. It bothers me that we're in this situation. I would love there not to be a virus, but the fact that there is, it's just like every other virus that's out there. There are more deadly viruses that are around us every day, that infect people every day, that kill people every day. I had to deal with one, I don't know, a couple of years ago from, thankfully, from Fairview Hospital, the Cleveland Clinic. But it is what it is, and we accept it. And for whatever reason, because there's an election this year, all of a sudden, this is a killer virus, and we have to focus on it and well, try to affect our election results because of it. So I'm sure come November 4th, the press and the media and all the restrictions on the virus will be gone because, well, it won't have any political clout anymore, and we'll just move forward. But yeah, I don't know why Mike DewInes thinks that. Well, I don't know why Mike DewInes, period. So thanks a lot for joining me these next couple of days while I am in motion. I'm going to be broadcasting, trying a couple different things. It'll be interesting. Hopefully it works. I'm sure it will have some glitches, but it'll be a great learning experience, and it will be kind of a cool deal overall, assuming that I can indeed make it work. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow while I'm in motion here on the American Soundbite. Thanks a lot for watching, and tell all your friends that they should